Hey guys, it's March 12th and I want to talk to you about what I'm personally looking at from a technical point of view with Bitcoin's current price action. There's no easy way to say it. Crypto has not so surprisingly seen the same type of market sell-off as the rest of the world, which fundamentally is not a very good thing. Many people claim Bitcoin is a safe haven asset. Well, do you consider something safe if it drops 40% in a day or two? The thing is, guys, that Bitcoin is always super volatile, even at the best of times. So why would people want to take their money out of high risk assets such as stocks and place them into an even higher risk asset such as crypto? I don't want to seem too overly bearish long term because I think crypto will have its purpose and it'll have its time in the sun, but it's still such a young asset that it can't really be relied on the way gold is. This is the first time Bitcoin has been tested in a global crisis, and it's failing, period. That being said, as a trader, we fucking love Bitcoin. It's cheap, it's easy to trade, it's volatile as shit, a trader's dream market. Remember when I say that Bitcoin is very high risk investment and trading is even higher risk. Now, do you guys remember in my first crypto video I explained my potential bullish theory with Bitcoin? Well, I also said that if things take a turn for the worse, that I am comfortable playing this market to the downside as well. And today happened to be one of those days. I'm going to show you where I entered my short trades and why. So here, both these blue lines are my entries. I missed this entire move. I was sleeping. That happened overnight. I never had a stop entry, a momentum play in at all. To be honest, guys, I was actually under the impression that this was going to be a bullish falling wedge. I kind of thought it was going to break to the upside here and make its move bullishly, but we never did get any 15-minute closes above this, so I never did take a long position. In fact, we got a 15-minute close here just below that wedge, and well, you see what happened as soon as we got that close. That 15-minute candle was a 14.5% drop. Another 15 minutes, well, in half hour we have a 22.3% drop. That's insanity. But the problem is I missed that. Whatever, can't catch them all, right? So today, just being things are so bearish, generally the trend is your friend. And I was kind of just waiting for things to look like they are getting rejected. And it was kind of looking that way to me here. For one, this wasn't really building too much momentum here, and I was almost looking at it like a rising wedge, which would be bearish. And the fact that we did end up closing below it and then struggling to break through it there, we caught a red close right along the old support line, which would now be resistance. And then I also drew out this potential descending triangle because, as I said in my first video, I fucking love playing triangles. So put my money where my mouth is and drew one out there. As we started to get a downward sloping resistance here, I mapped it from this big doji candle. So anyways, it did actually end up getting a bounce along our horizontal support here. So anyways, before that actually confirmed here, I was more playing this rising wedge. I was willing to get out pretty quick. But I only had my stop loss up here, so I figured if this is a giant bear flag, the risk reward is quite a bit. The measured move is going to be huge. The stop loss is not so huge. And being things are so bearish, I'm willing to give more credit to the downside. So I ended up taking my profits along this white line. This is a weekly trend line, and so is this one, but I never really gave this one too much credit because, for one, our weekly trend line up here failed relatively easily. That's all there is to it. It broke down really easily. With the total panic across the world right now, people are selling their shit. So, I mean, fundamentally, technically, this was kind of lining up here. So, anyways, I was talking about entering a short here, and when we got this 15-minute close below my triangle, I added a little bit to my position, so it made my average entry worse. So I was a little more open to risk, but that's another pattern that I just love to play, so I took it. And within about 10 minutes, I reached my target, and that was a profit of 192% in less than 10 minutes. That is insanity. You don't get that in normal markets, but when you're applying leverage and things like that, I'll play the downside all day if it's giving me clear patterns like this that I can play and be comfortable with, have a nice tight stop loss. I mean, it just set itself up for me, so I had to play it. This is kind of concerning from a bullish standpoint. We're consolidating below a weekly trend line right now on the 15-minute chart. If we happen to start closing candles above this line and treating it as support again, we might be ready for somewhat of a bounce in the market. But if we just keep consolidating under here and can't grab any traction, we might be making a move down to the next weekly support I have, which is closer to $3,200, which would be, from where we are right now, another 30% drop. So, I mean, there's plenty of money to be made both ways, guys. If we rip to the upside here, I don't know if I would play a bullish stance right now, but even up to our old support here, which could be our new resistance, that's almost a 20% move. Like, things are so volatile right now, guys. It is a trader's dream. What I'm going to be looking at for a future play here, let me just clean up this chart for you a little bit. So I'm not in a play right now. I'm tempted to throw in a short because we are under my weekly support line, and I just can't do it yet. I want some more structure to form before I'm comfortable. But if I go to the hourly chart here, let me just get rid of that. I'm starting to wonder if we're going to get a bit of a falling wedge. If we go with something like that. This is generally a more bullish pattern, but it still has a lot of room to go down, guys, even if it starts bouncing off this, and down to this kind of area before we break and find support. I mean, technically speaking, that would be great because this is also where our last big bull run started. Well, not the big one, not the last bull market, but this whole swing here. That was a 350% pump. So, I mean, it's a good level of support. If that drops, whew, not too sure where the price will go, but that's where we sit on the sidelines, wait for patterns to form, wait until there's a low risk, high reward trade setup, and then we take the plunge and join. Anyways, guys, that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. I have to wait until some sort of a wedge or a triangle generally. Those are my favorite patterns to play, so I'm going to wait for something like that to form, I believe, and look to hopefully crush this market. Hopefully you guys are learning a little bit from what I'm looking at, or maybe it's helping you be a second set of eyes on what you're already looking at. Give me a like, give me a subscribe, let me know what you're thinking, and stay safe out there, my friends.